So what can we do that minimizes the financial cost but maximizes the emotional? And one example is at their hotels, they'll go on your social media, pull pictures down from your Instagram if it's a public page, and put them on your television screen when you check in with your name and it says welcome home, right? Low cost, high impact. And I know some people are like, oh, they're stalking me on social media. It's like, come on, get over it. You have a public page. You made it public. If you want it private, you make it private, and many people do.
I always tell people, hey, look, if you want to end up generating revenue, see, my basic belief is you can't generate revenue unless you create a triple win, okay? So a triple win is that whoever you're selling to on the other side, your customer wins, right? Which is very important. Second is you as the company, that is you / your company you're working for, wins. But as importantly, the company that the client is working for wins. And you might say, wait, why are you separating the client from their company? And the reason is because a client will not buy something that is very good for the company but is not good for them.
All of the things that get measured outside of simply ringing the bell are all sort of like, precursors. They're almost symptoms to ringing the bell. Oh, and by the way, we did this many impressions, or we had these campaigns, we bought a national TV ad, and we think we got this many impressions or clicks or opens or on-site, content engagement that maybe is feeding into your CDP so you can understand what's really going on. Those are all sort of like precursors to real revenue, to real sales. And what they care about, at the end of the day is ringing the bell. Then it's a question of, okay, how did we get here? Okay, how do we now optimize that or improve that in an iterative way so we can ring the bell more than we already are? I mean, that's really what they care about. Now, when we think about selling to them, we think about their chaotic world and the amount of burden, cognitive burden that's placed on them on a day-to-day basis. I think it's critical that the number one, that the burden of proof is really on the salesperson. But it's also critical, I think there's a burden placed on the salesperson to make it as simple as possible. They don't have the brain space to try to sort through something very complex. So sometimes very simple things. I mean, even if it comes down to creating something along the lines of, hey, this is the ROI that we normally see, and just converting that to like a dollar basis ROI to say, hey, our clients, without us, they spend $1 and they get $1.60 back. With us, they spend $1, they get $1.92. Very, very simple, easy to understand. They can walk around and talk about that all day, and everybody around them can understand it in a tiny brief moment and lock it in and remember it.
Catapult Commission's first concept was, I want to teach you how to achieve your sales goal. So to achieve a sales goal was really saying the skill component, we're just going to put that to the side. Because with all honesty, that's easy. And when people are like, oh, and I watch these gurus make sales, it's not hard. It's easy. You just have to execute. So the Catapult Commission strategy part was, okay, well, we're going to take a 3-part component to say, we're going to help you achieve your sales goal. Yes, I'll teach you how to sell, but we're going to set up a goal on the back end. So the first part was, let's get clear mental preparation. So let's truly start with the end in mind. What is it that you want? And how badly do you want it? Why do you want it? What's the impact? And once we identify what you want, we're going to say, what happens if you fail? So the very first part of the strategy part is, let's get clear mental preparation, identify what we want, and let's identify what happens when we fail. When you have that conversation with people and you ask them to define failure, you'd be surprised at the answers you get. There's corporate failure, didn't hit quota. Personal failure, lost my job. 1099 rep, personal failure, man, I don't even know how to pay my bills next month because I don't have any small salary. I didn't make any sales. I blew the money I had from the last big commission check. I'm struggling, right? Let's identify failure. So once we have all of that clear mental preparation, then we go with part 2, which is the actionable steps.
You start to look back and evaluate the things that you're doing, and you really feel like you're doing the same things that you had done before. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, this happened to me very recently. In 2021, I hit my number on 5 deals. I had a great year. Every deal that I worked on was very intentional. I worked the process perfectly, and I got the right outcome. Fast forward to 2022, the first half of my year, I continued doing the same things, but the results weren't coming. In the first quarter, I was like, fine, it happens. You're not gonna win them all. By the time the second quarter rolled around and the same lack of results was happening, that confidence was starting to wane. And I could really feel the weight of this performance slump on my shoulders. And all of a sudden you start to question, am I doing the right things? Do I need to push here? Do I need to do something different? Does my process work? Is it me? You start having all of these questions about what's going on, when at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control. You have to stick to the fundamentals. The worst thing you can do is start reaching for things that are outside of your norm, outside of what makes you great, outside of what puts the focus on your customer, the customer's results, and how you can make the most impact on their business, because that's what's going to have the most impact on your results.